David Prowse, the guy who was in the suit playing Darth Vader through the 3 Star Wars films, the proper Star Wars films, the original OG Star Wars films, has died. His agent confirmed that it was a heart-wrenching sadness for him and millions of fans across the world to announce that David Prowse MBE passed away at the age of 85. Bloody good innings. Well done, sir. He was born July 1st, 1935. He stood at 6'6", Nigel. That's almost double your height.
It is.
It is double your height.
It is double my height. Jesus, and width, I suppose.
Well, you expect that. David Prowse was famous for being Darth Vader, but I actually met David Prowse in another role, which he played when I was a child. Now, hopefully, I should be able to bring this up. If he hasn't cocked it up, he presses the button.
Was he wearing a funny suit?
He was wearing a funny suit. Let's just see if this, because my
very true though. This he is alive.
Emergency! Calling Green Cross man. Crosses. Where did you go, you dumbo?
Green Cross.
When you get to the curve, always stop.
That was David Prowse. Look at that. That's
Sorry, Green Cross.
Right. Just like to point out something, yeah? That fucking hand is huge. I met him doing the Green Cross Code Man when I was in primary school, and he had a dusty, I would describe him more like Dusty Bin than R2D2 as companion. And they gave us lots of Green Cross Code things, and he came in and we did our assembly, and this little old me going, hello. And I saw him, and I told my parents, because I'm at the Green Cross Code Man today. And my dad was like, it's not a Green Cross Code Man, Gareth. That's Darth bloody Vader. What do you mean? It doesn't sound anything. It didn't sound anything like Darth Vader. I went, no. That's the guy in the suit who plays Darth Vader. And I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah. He did the Green Cross Code Man as a public service announcement for public service announcements for us as kids to make sure that we followed the Green Cross Code. And the funny thing is, I can't remember what the Green Cross Code is.
Stop, look,
and listen. I think it's that, but I can't say with 100% certainty. But yeah, I met him in that capacity. I think we all got to just walk past him and say hello, and he told us to be good children and pay attention when crossing the road. So he was off doing all the school things. And it's not, I'll be honest with you, as an actor, he didn't have like a massively prolific career because he's kind of pigeonholed into a few things, and I'll cover it in a moment, being such a large fella. But yeah, I remember meeting him as that. He was a heavyweight world weightlifting. He won the British heavyweight lifting championship in 1962, and he was famous for tearing up telephone directories. And they gave him the nickname Jack the Ripper. Huge fella. He trained Christopher Reeve for his role as Superman. Because of his loftiness, George Lucas hired him to occupy the Darth Vader costume in Star Wars A New Hope, but because of his British accent, George Lucas decided to remove him and replace him with James Earl Jones. Now, I like James Earl Jones's voice. James Earl Jones's voice is there's something quite dynamic about it. It's got one of those quite distinct voices. I think I was talking to my wife about people with distinct voices, people like Brian Blessed, Morgan Freeman is another one. We have all these people with distinct voices, and he was one of those people.
I listened to earlier on the BBC. They had some clips of him playing the role of Darth Vader, but with his voice, obviously.
Yes.
And my word, does that sound a bit surreal? His Bristolian accent shining through, and then they play James Earl Jones's voice, and that really does sound a lot better. I think George might have made a good choice there, but
well, it's one of those things. But he didn't realize that his voice had been dubbed over until he watched the premiere in 1977, and he was not best happy about it. And you could imagine that as an actor, that you would be a little bit pissed off in regards to these things. He also starred in a number of TV shows. He starred in the Beverly Hillbillies in 1968. That's the black and white TV show with old Bubbling Crude coming up. The Saint, starring Roger Moore. He was in that. He was in Carry On Henry. He was in Clockwork Orange. He was in Doctor Who. the Time Monster, and he played the Minotaur. Naturally, the biggest role that he could have in Doctor Who. It's also in Space 99, where he played a cloud creature. Again, big ass kind of role there. He was also in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as one of the bodyguards, and he was also in Star Wars. It's a weird one because he was one of these people who had issues with Star Wars because of what they'd done to him, and there's an artistic argument for not doing it, and then there's the kind of keeping your kind of word thing to the actors. Not brilliant, but I can remember meeting David Prowse. He was a big fella. He did have a meaty set of arms on him, so you could see how he got his weightlifting bits and that. But at the end of the day, he had a good innings, 85. I'd be happy with 85. So yes, that's great. So Nige, what are your Darth Vader memories or David Prowse? Did you meet the Green Cross Code Man?
No,
you never met the Green Cross Code Man.
No, I do recall the advert a little bit. They had this weird ass robot as well, right at the end. If you remember, it's like a little dome thing.
Yeah, that was Dusty Bin. That was a Dusty. I refer to it as more like Dusty Bin than R2D2 because it was a bit more bin like.
I mean, I can't remember when that was coming out. It must have been early 80s. I was so very young then, but I don't recall very much of that. So yeah, no memories of that. I like obviously what he did in the films. I found it quite surreal watching his voice as Darth Vader because it just sounds, in comparison to Earl James, it sounds a little bit whiny.
It cheers me up for one reason because like the British guys always tend to be the bad guys in American films, and it cheered me up the fact that he's not the bad guy in Star Wars. So there wasn't a British bad guy that everything kind of hinged around. It's a bit annoying because I think that when they had Return of the Jedi, they had a completely different actor being Darth Vader. So the bit where he takes his helmet off and he's got the harmonica in. That bit always makes me. There's a clip on YouTube of Darth Vader playing the harmonica, and they had that actor, and then they replaced him with fucking whingy Aiden Christensen or whatever his name was. It was a bit. It wasn't good, but he did a job. He got noticed for it. I think the fans loved him, which was a good thing. So yeah, this was a sad passing. So yeah, I will say thank you very much, Mr. Prowse, and we'll move on.
Cheers for the memories.